nation and here in the River Region. This is the award-winning Student Newscast, coming to you live from Southern Illinois University. River Region Evening Edition begins now.
A fire destroyed a house today in DuQuoin. Good evening, I'm Sydney Kessler.
And I'm Danny Valle. Fire investigators are trying to determine what caused the fire earlier today. Here's Evening Edition reporter Brittany Hardaway.
This home on Northwest Street in DuQuoin was destroyed.
I heard my dad yell. Thought there was a little bonfire going on, but it was a huge fire going up.
But it wasn't a bonfire. The homeowner woke up, grabbed his pets, and escaped from the burning home.
Arrived on scene to find the south end of a single-family home fully involved in flame. We initiated a defensive attack to begin with, extinguished the exterior flames, and then transitioned into an interior attack.
The DuQuoin Fire Department arrived at about 4:30 a.m. this morning, and it took nearly 4 hours to put out all of the flames. Neighbors called 911 immediately after they noticed the fire.
He had me worried thinking something was wrong here in the house, so I got kind of startled and jumped up out of bed.
The homeowner was not present after the fire was put out. In DuQuoin, I'm Brittany Hardaway, reporting for River Region Evening Edition.
Firefighter Will Riggio says the homeowner is insured and will most likely receive help from the Red Cross.
Tomorrow is election day for many Southern Illinois cities, including the election for mayor of the city of Carbondale. Mayoral candidates Jane Addams and John Henry have been in a tight race that will come to the end at the polls. Candidate Jane Addams has been running on the promises of reinventing and revitalizing Carbondale, promoting the safety and security of all of our residents and visitors, promoting a responsive, efficient, thrifty city administration, and welcoming people of all nationalities, races, abilities, and sexual orientations to the city. John Henry, on the other hand, promises to regain control of the city spending, to make the city safe again, increase enrollment at SIUC, and to promote, preserve, and restore our neighborhoods, and to revitalize the downtown area. To find out where you can vote, visit www.elections.il.gov to find your polling place. A state legislator wants to make all 12 state universities, including SIU, private. State Senator Bill Brady from Bloomington withdrew his legislation a week after he introduced it. But Brady says he hopes it will start a serious discussion about the future of higher education funding. Brady said, "I've represented a university campus, Illinois State, for nearly 20 years. I've seen the government red tape these guys and have to cut away through and the expenses associated with it." Brady would like to roll the state appropriation that now covers salaries and other operations into student financial aid. He hopes that this will help raise the burden of raising tuition on students.
A University of Virginia fraternity at the center of a Rolling Stone article is suing the magazine. Rolling Stone has since retracted the story about sexual assault, claiming Phi Kappa Psi members were involved. The fraternity says it is filing a lawsuit after 130 days of living under a cloud of suspicion as a result of reckless reporting by Rolling Stone magazine. The statement came a day after Rolling Stone published a highly critical external review of its editorial process.
Some people in Illinois want to add to the list of conditions that can be treated with medical marijuana. The list includes migraines, anxiety, insomnia, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Many of the people petitioning to add to the list of qualified conditions are veterans dealing with PTSD. Illinois law will allow treatment of dozens of conditions and diseases with medical marijuana.
Well, Sydney, it was a cloudy, chilly day, and there was some scattered rain around.
I know it definitely wasn't the good weather that I was hoping for, but I think Rob Tees has a look at the weather with us. Rob?
It wasn't exactly a spring-like wonderful day today, and tonight it's not going to be a whole lot better. Tonight and going into tomorrow morning, that rain will stick around. 64, 65 will be about the temperatures. But by midday tomorrow, that sun is going to peak out, and it should stay around into the evening with temperatures in the lower 70s. But will that rain make a return? I'll have that and much more in your full forecast after the news. Stick around.
Thanks, Rob. And aside from the rain, watch out for lots of more water in some Carbondale streets this week, and it's not because of the rain.
And there are many more signs that Hillary Clinton is going to be ready to announce her presidential campaign. The Carbondale Fire Department just started their first day of fire hydrant flushing around town. Evening Edition reporter Rachel Roberts has the full story.
You walk by it, you drive past it, but do you ever wonder why the fire department does this? What they are doing is hydrant flushing, but why do they do it each year?
And it gives the firefighters an opportunity to see the flows, and we also look for maintenance issues while we're out that can be corrected.
The fire department uses this gauge to measure the water pressure. The firefighters then use a table to calculate whether the hydrant is in proper condition. These readings are given to the Insurance Services Office along with other reviews of the fire department.
Yeah, ISO is a rating that's established and given to the city of Carbondale. Every community is issued one, and this is just part of the program that ISO uses to rate a city. And the city of Carbondale is currently a rating of 4, and this is part of the calculations that's used to determine what the rating would be.
Reporting from Carbondale, I'm Rachel Roberts.
The city of Carbondale has about 1,300 fire hydrants. The fire department thinks it will take about 4 to 6 weeks to get all of them.
An app contest took place today at the Undergraduate Creative Activity and Research Forum. SIU students put together apps that could benefit business, lifestyle, or entertainment on the phone or tablet. The runners-up were Arvind Serini Visara Gavin, Patrick McCrae, and Noah Leverett. Their app, Flappy Speedway Challenge, is a game based on the addictive game Flappy Bird. The app is still in its beta phase, but can be picked up in the Google Play Store. Justin Dial, the winner of the app contest, created this of the Android keyboard app. Although still under construction, his app can predict sentences at a time instead of just using your next word.
A Missouri man has been sentenced to the maximum term of 15 years in federal prison for sending threatening letters. While still in prison, 56-year-old William Maybe of Fettus was sentenced Friday in East St. Louis. That's also where he was convicted in December of 3 counts of mailing threatening letters. 2 of the mailings in the latest case were sent to recipients in Illinois' Bond County. U.S. Chief District Judge Michael Reagan ordered Maybe to serve his latest sentence after the term he's already serving in connection with the Missouri threat case.
Municipal elections from small communities don't typically merit much attention, but Tuesday's city council race in Ferguson has attracted intense media coverage. It is the first time since the fatal shooting of Michael Brown, an African-American teenager, by Darren Wilson, a white Ferguson police officer. The fallout from the shooting revealed a community deeply divided along racial lines. 2/3 of Ferguson's 21,000 residents are black, but the mayor and 5 of the 6 council members are white. That makeup is expected to change considering the 3rd ward has 2 black candidates. The 1st ward has 2 black and 2 white candidates, while both candidates in the 2nd ward are white. Ferguson staggers elections for 3-year terms, meaning 3 council members and the mayor are not facing election this year.
Acquaintances of a homeless man who died in southwestern Illinois are coming together to give him a proper funeral. Someone found the 56-year-old's body on March 27th behind a gas station dumpster. Overnight temperatures had fallen to near freezing. The official cause of death was exposure to the elements. Those who knew Glore described him as a friendly and talented singer. He performed an open mic night at an area club. The director of a Mount Carmel cemetery, Joe Hubbard, knew Glore and decided to supply a gravesite. Faith Baptist Church is providing a bus for friends to attend the service. And Steve Muller, a florist, is providing the flowers. Muller says nothing makes him sadder than someone without flowers at his funeral.
Hillary Clinton is expected to launch her 2016 campaign for president within the next 2 weeks. Sources close to the campaign say Clinton plans to focus on intimate events rather than big speeches and rallies. Clinton's campaign will take place out of Brooklyn, where she has already signed a lease for 2 floors at One Pierpont Plaza. The building also houses offices for Morgan Stanley and the New York District Attorney and is close to dozens of subway and bus lines. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is making one last effort to win over voters on the eve of the city's mayoral runoff election. The incumbent is set to face Cook County Commissioner Jesus Chuy Garcia. Emanuel spent Monday greeting and mourning commuters and calling voters from his campaign office. The former White House Chief of Staff says the election has, quote, a lot of stake for the city. Emanuel is seeking his 2nd term in office.
A gun range in suburban Chicago is teaching children how to shoot pistols. The Chicago Tribune reports the class for kids at a GAT Guns in East Dundee started about a year ago. Manager Randy Plotter says the range started the class because parents wanted to bring their children to shoot. The range leaves it up to parents whether their child is mature enough to handle a gun. Children as young as 7 took part in the recent session. They participated in firing guns while they were unloaded, and if they were showered, they were safe. They were allowed to use live ammo on the range. Parent Sergio Mailman of Deerfield took his 12-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter to the class. He says he teaches his children that guns are weapons and tools, but not toys. 9 bodies were uncovered today as Iraqi government exhumed remains of people killed and buried in mass graves last year by ISIS. Officials believe these victims were Iraqi soldiers and recruits from Sefer Camp massacre. The incident took place when ISIS overtook the city of Terkut in June 2014. ISIS claims that they have executed 1,700 Iraqi soldiers they captured from Camp Sfifer.
Kenya's military is launching airstrikes against the extremists who killed 148 people at a Kenyan college. Islamic militants were hit by airstrikes yesterday afternoon and early this morning, according to a military spokesman. Al-Shabaab, a group based in Somalia, claimed responsibility for the April 2nd attacks. Al Jazeera America says the group has killed over 400 people in Kenya since 2003.
Well, we have some warm weather in our forecast, but there's a hitch. Your 5-day forecast is next.
And stocks ended the afternoon with gains. Stay tuned for the nightly business report at 5:30.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope those of you out there had a pleasant Easter. I know the Teeses had a memorable one anyway. You know, all the little kids were out there hunting eggs, and of course I wanted to get in on the fun, so I went out in the yard. I found an egg, just a peculiar shade of green. I took it in the house, I peeled it, I ate it. It was hard boiled, of course. I just got sicker than a dog. Turns out it had been there since last year. Happy Easter. But hey, right now, temperatures on the Southern Illinois campus, 57 degrees. Humidity up there at 90%. You can almost cut that air with a knife, and the barometer high at 30.01. Today in the almanac for Monday, April 6th, high of 57 degrees. We're just about at that right now. A trace of precipitation in the gauge. I expect that to go up as the day goes on, and nothing so far this month. All over the river region, Belleville 65, Carbondale 57, Marion the hot spot at 59. Everybody in the upper 50s right now. Now I mentioned that rain earlier in my tease. This is going to be about tomorrow, 7 a.m. We're going to have some severe thunderstorms are possible. They're going to be scattered up north of Carbondale towards Ava, Camel Hill, Sparta, and DuQuoin. But as we go through the afternoon, that chance lessens a little bit, and you're going to see some just scattered light showers. That's about a 20-30% chance at best of those. But that rain will not mean that the temperatures will fall. Oh no. By 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're going to 76 degrees, 77. Everybody in the upper to mid 70s tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to get the rain, but we're also going to get the high temperatures. So it's not going to be cold and rainy at least. But for tonight, a 50% chance of rain after the sun goes down, a low of 61 degrees, winds out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow we're going to have rain before noon, and that sun should start to come out after that. And about a 20-30% chance of scattered showers, like I said, but most of us should see the sun. A high of 79 degrees. Tomorrow night the clouds will stick around though, a low of 64, and winds starting to get gusty out of the south-southwest. Now looking at our week ahead, Wednesday that rain will make a return. We're going to have some rain before noon on Wednesday, about a 40% chance of that. And on Thursday that rain makes a bigger return, about 60%, about 78 degrees. But Friday it moves out of our area, hopefully for all of that week, 65 degrees. We get a bit of a cool off. And we get a sunny weekend though, sunny and 69 for Saturday.
Yeah, so although we're getting the nicer temperatures, we're still getting the unfortunate rain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't have your cake and eat it too. So we're going to have the rain, but the temperatures will stay up for the time being.
Hey, at least it's going to get a little bit warmer than it was today. It was
should.
pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Rob.
Uh-huh.
Well, the women's tennis team saw a winning streak come to an end over the weekend.
But the men's golf team got strong performances from 2 individual golfers. Ahmad Hicks is here with more. Ahmad?
Both the men and women's tennis track team had a strong performance at the Big Blue Invitational, and the St. Louis Cardinals took on the Chicago Cubs in baseball's opening game. We have all that and more coming up after the break. Don't you go anywhere.
And now the latest scores and highlights from across the River Region. This is Evening Edition Sports.
The SIU women's tennis team 12-match winning streak came to an end over the weekend. It's been almost 2 months since the Dogs lost their last match. It was a lot tougher loss than usual when the women fell to number 27 ranked Wichita State 7-0. Natasha Tomashima, one of the top scorers for the Dogs, has been plagued with injuries all season, forcing her to leave the match following doubles play. The squad is hoping for a comeback this weekend when they travel to Iowa to take on Drake in Northern Iowa. The SIU men's tennis team is returning to university courts this Saturday in hopes of breaking their 3-game losing streak. Over the weekend, the men fell to Illinois State 4-3, bringing their conference record to 0-2. Michael Kianka and Johnny Rigby were both top scorers in singles, walking away with wins in both the number 1 and number 2 spots. However, a winless match for the rest of the squad gave them their 14th loss of the season. The men will be home this Saturday to take on Drake University at 11 a.m. The softball team returns to action tonight to host the St. Louis Billikens at Charlotte West Stadium. The Salukis are coming off a win over Illinois State from yesterday and hope to continue things on their winning streak. The Salukis are currently in 5th place in the Missouri Valley Conference with a record of 13 wins, 16 losses, and 1 tie. The baseball team had a tough weekend after they were swept by Central Arkansas. In Game 1, the Salukis were leading 3-2 after 5 innings. Then in the 7th inning, the Bears got rolling with 2 RBIs and a home run with 2 bases loaded. The Salukis would attempt to make a comeback, but failed as they were shut out in the final innings. The Salukis would lose 8-3 in their first game, then lose 5-6 in the second game. The Saluki men's golf team competed at the Red Wolves Intercollegiate at Arkansas State this weekend. The Dogs went into the final round in 20th place overall, but managed to move up 3 spots after a strong finish, putting them to 17th out of 21 teams. Southern was 71 over par as a whole team in the tournament, but shot just 10 over par on the last day, good for 8th best in the final round. SIU turned out 2 solid performances from senior Wade Thompson and Steven Suchek, good for 35th and 38th out of 115 golfers. The men's golf team competes again this weekend at the Robert Kepler Invitational in Columbus, Ohio. After an impressive weekend at the Big Blue Classic Invitational, the Dogs have their work cut out when they travel to Knoxville, Tennessee this Friday. Over the weekend, the women took 3rd out of 10 teams on the first day, and out of the second day, they took 1st out of 13 teams. Freshman Lindsey Murray stepped up in a big way by taking down the Salukis' all-time leading pole vault record at 4.12 meters. Wow, that's high. The men did not disappoint either, led by Tyrone Eccles, who ran a blazing speed in both the 100 and 200-meter dash, capturing the last qualifying spot in the 100. Up next, the Dogs traveled to Knoxville, Tennessee to compete in the Sea Ray Relays. The NHL playoffs are fast approaching, and fans got a preview of what may be ahead as the St. Louis Blues took on the Chicago Blackhawks. The action started as early as the Blackhawks jumped out ahead 1-0 in the first period after a goal from Chris Versteeg. The Blues would then even things up in the second period after David Backes forces the puck just past Joey Crawford right there with a nice goal. The Blues wouldn't look back from there as Ali Jokino would score in the second period to make it 2-1. That score remained the same as the Blues edged the Blackhawks. Now that April is here, so is the baseball season. The Chicago Cubs held the first game of the season, even though their stadium renovation wasn't complete. We picked things up with John Lester as he had his first start as a Cub when he took on Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals. The Cardinals scored on Lester as Matt Holliday drove in a run in the top of the first. In the 5th inning, Matt Carpenter and Holliday extended the lead for the Redbirds, putting them up by 3 runs. Wainwright was dominant for the Cardinals, pitching 6 shutout innings and only allowed 5 hits. The Cardinals walked away with their first victory of the year, shutting down the new-look Cubs 3-0.
Well, the Cardinals certainly look good. The Cubs have a lot of work ahead of them.
A ton of work, just like the previous years.
Well, it's great to have baseball back. 161 games to go.
Hey, it'll be a fun summer.
We're ready for it.
We'll take another look at weather after this short break.
And see how sweet today really can be with this national holiday.
Here are some of the stories making news in the days ahead. Voting takes place tomorrow for Carbondale, Marion, Heron, and many other towns nearby. Finalists for the job of SIU Chancellor are expected to be announced this week, and the NCAA Championship is tonight between Wisconsin and Duke. Badgers or Blue Devils? Who wins? Find out tomorrow. Join us Monday through Thursday at 5 for River Region Evening Edition.
Well, your Monday just got sweeter because April 6th is National Caramel Popcorn Day. Combining popcorn and caramel began back in the 1890s with the strong molasses flavor of Cracker Jack, an early version of which was introduced at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. Something about that sweet and salty flavor can easily be considered one of America's favorite snacks. There are all kinds of combinations of caramel corn available in grocery stores, movie theaters, and specialty stores. Well, Rob, do you mind if we get a quick look at that 5-day forecast?
It's fine, but I'd like some caramel corn first.
Caramel or caramel?
Looking at the days ahead, we're going to get wet in the next couple days. Wednesday and Thursday it's going to be rainy, but Friday and Saturday we're going to have a clear and sunny weekend.
All right, thanks, Rob. Thank you for joining us tonight. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at River Region News. I'm Danny Valle.
And I'm Sydney Kessler. For Rob Tees, Ahmad Hicks, and more than 100 students who work on Evening Edition, have a good night.